Hi, Marcia. Thank you so much for joining us. We're doing this podcast. Really, the subject is anything business related to software development, to product development. We try to stay away from technology per se because there's so many people that do this and they do it way better than me. But I do want to talk about the latest in general technology directions, right? We can talk about obviously AI is a big topic right now. Another thing that we talk a lot about are remote teams, which is my understanding is you have quite a bit of experience, also having moved from one country to another. I'll start with a bit of my background. I've been in technology for just about 35 years, worked through all my ranks. Started as a developer, went to management. For the past 11 years, I've been running company Mirigos. We focus on helping our clients build remote engineering teams from Latin America and Eastern Europe. So happened that I spent almost my entire career managing and working with remote teams. And way before COVID, way before everybody moved outside of the office, I was working in that environment. And that became the business. So that's a little bit about us, and we can talk more about it. But why don't you tell us about your background? What do you do? How you got here? Where you are now?
Okay. Thank you, Zhenya, for this invitation. I'm an entrepreneur. I started in Brazil when I was, let's say, 18, 19. I opened my first company and then started opening and selling companies. A few years ago, I decided to move out from Brazil and I came to Portugal. And then here I started a different experience. I joined a small company, a startup that was only 5 people inside the company when I joined. And we started the company just like any other company, the regular company in an office, and then the company started to grow and COVID came. So before, well, I noticed that things were getting worse. So before the order to shut down has came, I asked Philippe and Janina, the owners of the company, to try to work remote, because it would not be possible to stay in the office for long. And we did an experiment, and it worked. Everybody was able to work as good as in the office. So we stayed this way, and the company started to grow. We noticed that we were free to hire people from anywhere in the world. So the company was located in Lisbon, but we started to hire people in United States and in Europe, East Europe, and it was working fine. We were able to talk in English with everybody. The meetings were very good. And this experience was so good that the company decided not to have an office anymore. So when we were allowed to go back to the office, we simply didn't want to, but some people, one or two people that were working before COVID, they could not migrate to remote. They were not prepared, to go remote. They were working fine, but they lack to meet other people.
Yep.
So when the restriction was removed, they decided to go to other companies to be able to go to their office and work in person with other people. I noted that there are people that prefer to work remote and other people that prefer to work in the office.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one thing that I want to ask, and there's actually two things that I want to touch on, and both I think are equally important. You moved, and I'm going to go back a little bit to what you said. So you moved from Brazil to Portugal.
Mm-hmm.
Two countries with the same language, and yet very different culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different, just generally different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me a little bit about your experience. Not so much moving, because that's, I moved in the past from one country to another. A lot of people did. But when
Hmm.
you're working in an environment where you were used to running businesses, you're an entrepreneur, you were running businesses in Brazil, now you're part of the startup in Portugal. How do you see the difference, and how does it help? How does it get in the way? Because I think it's important when we talk about different people, right? You mentioned you hire people from Eastern Europe, you hire people from United States. They all have different cultures, different languages as well. And that's why
Hmm.
I'm sort of underlining that Brazil and Portugal are the same language. How does it work? Just tell me, what was the experience?
Yeah, it was very interesting. Although in Brazil, I already had experience with people from Europe and the United States. One of the companies that I launched in Brazil, I was in fact the only director of the company that was Brazilian. All other directors were from United States,
Hmm.
Netherlands, many Iraq, and many other countries. So moving to Portugal was different. I thought, okay, the language is almost the same, so it will be just like Brazil, but it was not. So it was a little bit challenging because in Portugal, as Portugal is a smaller country, things here go slower. It's
Hmm.
just like small cities in
Yep.
Brazil.
I get it. So what do you guys do with having people from different cultures, from different countries?
Hmm.
And you mentioned, which is absolutely correct, right? You got some people can't do it. Some people need the interaction. I have friends that work. So I've been working from home. I'm in my home office. I've been in my home office for 11 years. So I'm very used to it. COVID to me didn't change anything, right? It's just, okay, well, except my wife worked from home too, right? While the
Hmm.
COVID was there. But to me, it didn't change. Same room, same office, same setup, same everything. Where I had friends that were struggling, really emotionally struggling. They were begging to go back to work. And even when, COVID restrictions got removed and companies said, it's up to you, they were like, no, we want to go back to the office, right? Because they need this communication, they need this presence. Where for me, I don't, right? I'm fine with this. I talk to my team every day. We are on Zoom, we're on chat, right? So we're connected. We feel like we're together. Some people we've never met in our person, like in real life, just because of locations and time and travel. But what do you guys do to bring this and build
Hmm.
that relationship where people are more than just doing the work?
Yeah, we were always trying to find ways to get people more close together. So what we decided to do in this company, every year we do a convention, and we put everybody together in one country. So the first one was here in Portugal, in Porto. Then we went to Berlin, then Cancun. This year we will go
Nice.
to Las Vegas. So every time is a different place, and in that week that we spend together, we do many activities that are interesting for the company to make people know even more our goals, okay, but lots of integration activities. So we cook together, we have some
Hmm.
some competitions, hackathons. So I felt that I could build stronger bonds with this kind of activities, meeting in person one time, two times per year, and every day or every week remote. I
Okay.
felt it was possible to build strong bonds.
I see.
So I think I have one image. When you're building a company, you start hiring people that similar to you. You share the same values, you share the same vision, building the company. So these people, they connect easily, you know, because you share a lot.
Agreed. Yes. Yeah. And I agree with that, right? And I'm very familiar. Like I said, my company, Mirigos, we're fully remote. Everybody's remote. I am the only person based in the United States. Nobody else is in the United States from the company. Everybody's really remote. What we do is we help our clients hire the right people, right? And we're not an
Mm-hmm.
outsourcing shop. We do it very differently. We are more of a team augmentation type company because we believe, having been in the outsourcing world myself, I know what the problems are and I figured out a way how to solve it, like the fundamental problems of outsourcing. So we really do it in a different way. But what we do is we help people hire companies, hire people in other locations. We only cover two areas, Latin America and used to be Eastern Europe. Now it's Europe because people have moved over the past several years. Obviously, war played a role, but other reasons as well. And so we do Europe. And exactly what you said, right? A lot of people get surprised when I get on a call with them and I start asking them, give me, what are you looking for? Like, what type of person? They give me a job description. I said, that's fine. I can read the job description. Who are you looking for? Well, here's the job description. Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
I got the job description. That's the skill set. I got it. That's
Uh-huh.
the easy part. Who are you looking for? What are the values? Are you looking
Mm-hmm.
for, if you're a startup, do you need people to work, off hours? Do you need them to be self-starters, motivators? Like I can guess, but tell me what you
Mm-hmm.
need. If you're a larger company, do you really want somebody who's got that unlimited amount of energy? Probably not. So we
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of assessment, specifically the right type of person, right? We actually say the right fit, the right type of a person. And then we move on to skills, right? First, the
Mm-hmm.
person's got to fit in. Skills, a lot of times, are learnable. Skills are trainable. Skills, if the person is smart, if they know the basics, but you may have some technology they don't know, they'll pick up. But you can't change the personality. You can't change the way they interact, the way they communicate. So we do a lot of that. So exactly what you're talking about. Mhm.
And I think many people get afraid of going remote
Mhm.
and losing this contact, how you will make the meetings work and have everybody working together. So I think the most important goal that you should have is to motivate the team. If the team is motivated, there's no difference if they are remote or they are together in one place. Motivation is the key for me to have highly productive
Yeah,
teams.
and I think you're touching on a very important subject, right? It's motivating the team, motivating the person. It's not just motivating. You can't motivate the team. You have to motivate individuals, and they're all motivated by
Yep.
different things, right? That's another thing. It's like
Hmm.
we see, having we work in Latin America and Eastern Europe, and a lot of people ask me, "What's better?" Right? So the client comes in and says, "What's better? Where should I look for talent?" And they're surprised when I always tell them, "There is no better. They're different." There are different
Hmm.
styles of work, there are different approaches, there are different things that they do. Now let's talk about what it is that you need, what it is that you're building, what type of person that you're looking for, and then we can figure out what's better for you. It's not better, right?
Hmm.
And one of the major things is the motivation. People assume that everybody's motivated by money, which is true at early stages of your career, but it becomes less and less true as you progress. People want to get interesting stuff done. People want to, and that's something that we do, right? That the whole idea is how we attract talent is because we give them what they're looking for, and it's not only money. Obviously, money is part of it, but it's that being part of the team, being part of the core decision making of a actual company they work for, not for us, but the actual company they work for. So very interesting. How big is the team now, and what countries are you guys? I'm just curious. Like you mentioned few, but
Yeah.
what's the geography?
Well, we started in Lisbon with around 5 people, and we are reaching almost 60.
Wow.
So we have some people in United States, a few in Brazil, most in Lisbon and Porto, the biggest
Mm,
cities in Portugal,
yep.
Ireland, Scotland,
Interesting.
and there's Italy, Croatia. it's really sorted. We don't have one country of preference. Now we are opening a new office here in Lisbon and
Hmm.
one office in San Francisco to do a different experiment. First, we want to have the company well known here in our region. So we achieved big numbers in Portugal. For example, Apps is in the top three biggest app producers in Portugal,
Okay.
and it's in the top 300 in Apple Store. So we
Wow.
want to start making the brand more
Right.
known. This is one of the reasons that the office is being built to interact with the community here. So bring providers, partners, and even have people working there if their profile works better this
Right.
way.
Absolutely. Right. And that's a good thing, right? It's a flexibility. It's we give people sort of what they want, sort of what they need, and
Mm-hmm.
they give us back what we need. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys, what are the challenges that you're seeing with recruiting and hiring people? Also now and maybe over the past year, market's been sort of shifting for the past couple of years. It went down and picked up and went down again. It's a little weird what's happening right now. So what are you seeing?
Yeah, sometimes is really difficult to find some talents. For example, iOS developers, we had 20 in the company, and most of them came from Brazil. And it was easier to hire iOS developers in Brazil than in Europe. So sometimes we need to look a bit further to find the best people. And now many layoffs happened,
Right.
so we could give opportunity to other people that were leaving bigger companies. The selection process, we are doing 100% inside the company. So we developed a process that takes one test when the position is technical, and um, and some interviews. It's I think it's difficult to find the perfect match. I would say for each 10 that we interview, one or two proceed.
That's actually pretty good.
For
That's actually a pretty good number. You're doing
Yeah,
well. Yes.
but but the interview comes after the test, and the
Right.
test is filters a lot.
Yep.
For for each, let's say, 25 that does the test, one or two goes to the next
Hmm.
phase.
Yeah. That's very familiar. Yeah.
So we take, let's say, 3 months to have one position filled.
We only have less than 20% of people that we do screening for that go on to the client. And so what we do is, again, we work as part of, how to explain this? We work with your process, right? So we have our own process on filtering and screening. So, we have recruiters, they send us resumes, we'll screen them, and then we go, hey, we think it's a good fit, then we'll send the resume to you, and then they go through your process, same task, same everything. So it's the same process, exactly the same
Hmm.
process that everybody does. But we want to sort of, if we give you people, maybe it's not one of 25 or two out of 25, maybe it's one or two of five. It's still not going to be 100%, but it's going to be
Hmm.
more, higher number. So you don't have to waste that much time. But
Hmm.
yeah, we only get about 20%. So the steps are: the resume comes in, the resume gets reviewed, people are filtered out, recruiters talk to them, see how that works, people get filtered out. Then we get to our screening process, technical screening process.
Hmm.
And from there, only about 20% get to clients. So I'm very familiar, unfortunately, I'm very familiar with how that works, which I realize we don't have much time left and I want to be very conscious of your time. I want to touch on something interesting that we're talking about in terms of hiring, which to me is a big subject. Everybody's using AI,
Hmm.
whether it's ChatGPT or whatever other platform, people building their own models. How do you see role of AI specifically in hiring, selecting candidates, and helping you get the right candidates in?
Yeah, that's interesting. I think AI has to participate in the process in two phases. The first phase is to study the DCVs and review the tests. We can use it to try to check if some of the content was produced by AI,
Hmm.
because it's unfair. I think the candidate should present himself as the way he is. So at this phase, I think they shouldn't use AI, but we use to try to find out if there was some tampering. In the second phase, it's more interesting. We ask the candidate to use AI during the interview to show how he is dealing with AI, because everybody is working with AI. We
Yep.
need AI. So if he shows good skills using AI, he will be a very good addition for us.
That's interesting. Yeah, there's an interesting conflict that I see going on right now.
Mhm.
Everybody uses AI, but people use AI to cheat in the system, and we're still trying to prevent it. Yet we want them to use AI. It's sort of this misnomer, right? It's just, well, AI is there. It's almost like, people will Google. They will go and will search on the internet. They'll find information. And to
Mhm.
me, I think it's actually a good thing. It helps them out. And so, yeah, I would much rather see them using this than avoiding it, right? Because it gets better result faster. We started using AI on our end to evaluate resumes and to evaluate screenings.
Mhm.
And interestingly, 9 months ago, I was fighting that. I'm like, it's not going to work. Don't do that. It's not going to work. Stop it. But about 3 months ago, 3 months ago, we rolled out a process. So we still talk to people, right? We don't, AI didn't replace anybody. There's still
Sure.
a person that talks to you. But what we do, we transcribe the interview. We don't even record it, we transcribe it.
Perfect.
And we load that conversation into AI, and we've trained our own model, right? So we sort of know, hey, this is what you want to expect for this particular role. I
Mhm.
would say about 95% accurate results now.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
great.
So AI comes back and says, for this position, based on the interview, and again,
Mhm.
it evaluates actual interview, right? The actual
Mhm.
questions and answers. Says this person is, 7 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10,
Mhm.
and we'll list exactly why. It doesn't just give the score; it lists,
Uh-huh.
and we find that it's pretty close to, let's say, oh, it's definitely over 90%. It's not 100,
Mhm.
but it's somewhere between 90 and 100% accurate.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. I
Yeah.
think that's the objective of AI. It's to um, make these things that are very time consuming,
Yep.
and produce a very easy to read result, you know, in a
Absolutely.
short period of time.
Yeah.
I use AI to check how the code our developers are creating. So they use AI to create the code as
Mhm.
well. But I use AI to check if their code is compliant to all the directives that we defined.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. So it's interesting. AI, it's part of our life, and it's here to stay.
Absolutely is. Absolutely is. Yeah, I was talking to somebody last week and I said 9 months ago it was hype, 6 months ago it was a toy, 3 months ago it was a prototype, and today it's part of life. I
Yeah.
can't even imagine what it will be in another 3 to 6 months, right? It's just the speed that it's developing is just so fast, so ridiculously fast. It's amazing.
Some weeks ago, I was invited to a debate on a University of Lisbon here,
Hmm.
and the mediator asked every one of the people that was debating how we see the world in 5 years, and I told him, I cannot see the world in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's going too fast. We cannot. Wow, it's really amazing, this period that we are living, and many things are changing a lot, so we will see many
Absolutely. We actually, the generation that
mhm.
witnessed some of it before when the internet came about,
Yeah.
right? Remember the internet first came about, it was a toy. It was like, yeah, okay, cool, you can go play some
Hmm.
games. Then I remember Amazon as a
Hmm.
bookstore came about. And,
Yeah.
I was working in IT and we all were buying computer books back then, right? You read the book, you actually had the actual book.
Hmm.
And it's like Amazon, like, wow, how do you do this? It was moving fast, but it was still slow, right? It took years for e-commerce to move online. It wasn't
Yeah.
overnight. Where the speed of AI development is just crazy. Like I don't
Hmm.
know what you're saying in 2 years. I don't know what's going to be in a year. I don't
Yeah.
know.
It's
All right, Marcia.
incredible.
Well, thank
Incredible.
you so much. Thank you for your time. It's very interesting. All I can say is good luck to you. It sounds like you're doing the stuff that we are seeing that works, right? Getting people engaged, getting people motivated. Don't set any artificial boundaries. This country, that country. It's the right
Hmm.
people. They're everywhere. And embrace the technology. Embrace the reality of the today's world. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zhenya.